The former president of the Republic, Jacob Zuma, insists he will serve a prison term if the Constitutional Court decides on one. Zuma has written a 26-point statement explaining why he won't appear before the State Capture Commission. He says he's lost trust in the South African judiciary, including judges of the Constitutional Court. Yesterday, the Commission's lawyer, Advocate Thembeka Ngcukaitobi, pleaded with the Constitutional Court to give Zuma a 2-year sentence for contempt of court. The court reserved judgment. All right, I'll be joined in a moment by Mbekezeli Benjamin, a researcher at Judges Matter, and actually he joins me now for a conversation about what former President Jacob Zuma has had to say about the state of the judiciary. Mr. Benjamin, thank you for joining us. Before we get into our conversation, I would want to sort of rewind a little bit to 2019, I think October it was, when the Chief Justice Mogoeng was delivering a report on the state of the judiciary and basically threw down the gauntlet and said it's easy to cry corruption, to say judges are corrupt. Give us the proof. Let us act on it. Substantiate your claims. And I think it is apt to start there given this 26-point statement by former President Jacob Zuma. You and I will then pick up our conversation after having listened to CJ Mogoeng in October 2019. Take a listen.
We say to you, we are not perfect people. We are not a perfect institution. And we ought not to be immune from legitimate criticism. But this gratuitous criticism, as if there is a campaign to delegitimize the judiciary, so that when they make orders against you, you can have the opportunity to say, this is an order by corrupt people. This is an order by facilitators of money laundering. How can I be expected to obey this order? It took this institution, we say it with all sense of humility, to intervene when it matters the most. And I urge every South African who cares about this country and its future to make it his or her business to wake up and deliberately confront any baseless accusation of corruption in the judiciary. What did we say? We said anybody with the evidence must come, so that if there are rotten apples in our midst, they can be kicked out rather than spoil the reputation that we have worked so hard to build as the judiciary.
So, Mbekezeli Benjamin, given what we've heard from the CJ from 2019, but also the statement of former President Jacob Zuma, 26 paragraphs over 8 pages. Let's start there. What do you make of the statement by former President Jacob Zuma?
Good morning, Thulasizwe, and good morning to the ENCA viewers. It is actually an apt clip that you played of the Chief Justice. It contextualizes President Zuma's statement in a on-point way, in that the crux of the statement seems to suggest that there is some grand scheme of corruption by judges, and they're all in it to try and undermine President Zuma's constitutional rights, and they're all in it with his political enemies to try and really undermine his rights and his political reputation. But that really couldn't be further from the truth. As the Chief Justice said in that clip, the legitimate criticism of the judiciary is something that happens every day. Academics, lawyers criticize judges on their judgments every single day. But gratuitous statement, just like the one that President Zuma released last night, that's not at all legitimate, and it's not even fair, because none of the judges can respond to it. But the main issue, and which the Chief Justice also highlights, is that when the orders go against an individual, in this case President Zuma, it is only then does he call judges corrupt, does he accuse judges of being involved in some scheme to undermine his rights. for the past 20 years, President Zuma has been in and out of court. Some courts have found in his favor, others have not found in his favor. Not once did he complain that the judges were in some sort of scheme for finding him not guilty of a particular crime. He didn't complain then. And so now it's quite ironic that he now says, look, the judges are trying to undermine me. And that's the context in which we should read the statement.
I think the most extraordinary statement from that statement by former President Jacob Zuma comes in paragraph 26, the very last paragraph, where he says, quote, "Unfortunately, when people rise up against this judicial corruption, our young democracy will unravel and many democratic gains will be lost in the ashes that will be left of what used to be our democratic state." How worried should we be as society that there's talk of people rising up against judicial corruption and, being told that there'll only be ashes left of our democracy?
I don't think we should go into a panic with that statement. What should happen is that responsible leaders in society, including people like the president, should be coming out to speak quite strongly against such rhetoric, because it undermines not only the judiciary, because it's not the judiciary that is under attack by that statement, but it is in the entire democratic state of South Africa. And so responsible leaders should be stepping up to condemn those kinds of statements, because judges are constrained. We do not want judges to be political players, to be responding to statements of that nature.
But let me jump in there, Mbekezeli Benjamin. You speak to the nub of the problem. The leaders, the responsible leaders that you're talking about, the likes of President Cyril Ramaphosa, are not calling out this kind of behavior. I mean, when he was confronted about this issue of former President Jacob Zuma refusing to comply with the orders of the Constitutional Court, he said, let's give him space. And the NEC of the ANC meets and comes out with a statement that says we are sure that he wants to cooperate with the Zondo Commission and the Constitutional Court, when evidence out there shows that he doesn't.
Yes, so then there is an issue. It is an issue that the head of state is actually not stepping up as he should. But in the past, he has issued a statement where he was calling out allegations of corruption against judges. So that should be encouraging. But again, leadership is not concentrated in the hands of the president alone. Other role players should be also stepping up. There have been groups such as religious leaders who have called who have condemned statements of this nature and who have tried to lower down the temperature, because this kind of statement that you quoted, it's trying to build up certain pressure, and it's trying to build up emotion in the rest of society, and it is up to leaders in society to step up to that. And like I said, the issue is not only the judiciary. We have seen in the past when people like Public Protector Thuli Madonsela have tried to force President Zuma to account, he has come out to attack them. And there was a mistake that there were not enough leaders who condemned that, and there should be more leaders who are condemning statements and trying to protect the reputation of the judiciary, because they are also trying to do the same job, closely of the same job like Thuli Madonsela was doing, to exact accountability, because that is the issue that is at stake now.